Okay, I figured there might be some people that need some help with this, so I thought I would make a video for the review. So first, here is the equation. Can we draw it? Okay, so they want us to classify. That means what kind is it? Classify means what kind. And then we want to sketch the graph. For parabolas, we need the vertex and the focus. Circles, we need the center and the radius. Ellipses and hyperbolas, we need the center, vertices, and focus. Okay, we basically just give the things that we get when we do all of this. Okay, look right here. That means we know it would cross the x twice and the y twice, and they're both real. So it's either an ellipse or a circle. And the spread number on the x is a 1 and the spread number on the y is a 1. That means it's stretched the y sideways and up and down the same. So this one is going to be a circle. That's what they mean by classify. So before we even start, I know this is going to be a circle, because the x squared and the y squared are both positive and they both have the same stretch. Okay, next I want to go ahead and see where the center is, so I'm going to need to complete the square on all of this stuff. So I have x squared minus 2x, and then leave a space, and I have y squared minus 8y. Then I'm going to take this 13 and put it to the other side. Okay, we cut these in half, -1, square it in, plus 1. So I added 1 to this side, I'm going to add 1 to that side. Okay, -8 cut in half is -4. -4 times -4 is 16. I add 16 to this side, I add 16 to this side. Okay, that is the factor, so it's x minus 1 all squared plus y minus 4 all squared equals 17 minus 13, so equals 4. Okay, that is the equation in standard form. So we now know that the center is at 1, 4, and the radius is 2, the square root of that. Okay, so there's the information, and now let's graph it. 1, 4. The radius is 2, so it's going 2 over, 2 up, 2 over, and 2 down. There's the graph. Okay, number 2. What kind is number 2? Look, we only have an x squared. That means in my mind, I know it's only gonna cross the x-axis something like this. It's either up or down, depending on what is happening here. This is a parabola. That's what it means by classify. Okay, if we recall, we have a note sheet somewhere. Let me find mine, with some of these formulas and whatnot on it. Okay, the parabola formula looks like that. Okay, the x is squared, so I need to get it to look something like this. X minus h all squared equals 4p y minus k. That's what we're shooting for. Okay, well, all we got to do is complete the square on that thing and see what happens. Okay, so how about I move these two things to the other side and leave the y minus 4 over here. So I'm just going to do it the other way around. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll put the y minus 4 there, and then this will put an x squared minus 6x on the other side. Okay, complete this. Minus 3 squared in is plus 9. If I add 9 to this side, I have to add 9 to this side. So here's the completed part. X minus 3 all squared equals y plus 5. Now when I take a look at this up here, okay, there I'm going to put that y plus 5 in a bracket because right there is the 4p number. Okay, well there's an invisible 1 there, so 4p equals 1, so p is 1/4. Oh, by the way, this is the equation. Sometimes they move the 5 to the other side. If you go look at your answer sheet, they did that. See on the answer key, they have it solved for y. You can do that if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, so that means we know what the center is. The center, the vertex here in this case, is +3, -5. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's our vertex. We know that, let's see, what do they want us to do for parabolas? The vertex and the focus. So we still need the focus point. The focus point, the P is positive, so it's going up. So the focus is 1/4 up from there. So there's my focus, 1/4 up. And if they wanted, which I'm going to add, I'll probably ask you this on a test, there's the directrix. So it's going to look something like this. So the focus point is 1/4 up from where the vertex was. So the focus is over 3. Now this was -5, and I want to add 1/4, so it'll be at -4 3/4. And the directrix is this line right here. Notice it's crossing the y-axis, and it's P down from there, so it's 1/4 down from the vertex, so it's crossing the y-axis at -5 1/4. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, look at these two. They're both positive. That means it's going to cross the x and the y, so it's some kind of a circle. But now look at the stretches. The stretches are different, so it's either a super tall one. That means one of them got stretched more than the other. This is an ellipse. That's how you tell. You just look at the x squareds and the y squareds, and you can tell. Up here, there was only an x squared. It was only going to cross the x twice. Here, it's going to cross the x twice and the y twice. Okay, so let's complete the square to get the center. So we have x squared plus 2x, leave a space, and I have 36y squared minus 144y. I'm going to move the 109 to the other side. Okay, cut this one in half is 1, square it in is 1. So if I add 1 to this side, we add 1 to this side. Okay, over here you cannot have in order to complete the square, this can't have a 36 on it. So we've got to factor that 36 out. 144 divided by 36, I think that's 9. Okay, it's 4. Okay, so I just took these two and divided out the 36 so I can complete the square, -2. -2 squared is +4. Okay, it looks like I added 4 to this side. I have to add 4 to this side, but really I didn't add 4. I added 36 times 4. So 36 times 4 was 144. So I added 144 on this side, so I'll add 144 on this side. Okay, here's the completed square. So that's x plus 1 all squared plus 36, and then here it is on this one, y minus 2 all squared equals 145 minus 109, 36. Now, ellipses, since it has circles, that's just equal to the radius squared, because the sideways radius and the up and down radius are the same thing. But on ellipses, the x radius and the y radius are different, so we don't leave it out here as the radius. We force this to be a 1. So I'm going to divide this piece by 36. I'm going to divide this piece by 36. Divide by 36. So this becomes x plus 1 all squared over 36. These 36's reduce away, so this becomes y minus 2 all squared over 1, and it equals 1. Okay, there's the equation in standard form. All right, that's enough to graph actually. So here's our center. It's at -1, +2. So -1, +2 is right there. Let's see what they want for ellipses. They want the center, the vertices, and the focus point. Okay, so there's the center. The vertices, so sideways, we're going to go sideways 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they want us to identify those. So those vertices were from the -1 sideways, and we went plus and minus 6, which gives us 5 and -7, which is sure enough, we went over 5, and here we went over -7. And then, of course, they were both up 2. So there's 2 of the vertices. There's the major ones. And then the y's are going square to 1 is up and down 1. So the other vertices are at -1, and then starting at the 2, they went up and down 1. Okay, so there's our picture. So we have the equation, we have the center, and we have the vertices, all 4 of them. Now we need the focus points. The focus are going to be on the inside of that. So it's going to be going left and right from the x, from the -1. So for focus on these, it's a squared minus b squared equals c squared, and c is the distance to the focus. So here's our a squared is 36, b squared is 1. So we have 36 minus 1, so 35. So the square root of 35 is c. So the focus points are going -1, plus and minus, so left and right 35, up 2. Okay, number 4. Now one of the x's are broken. So this means it's going to touch the y-axis. It would have touched the x-axis, but I'm going to make an open circle. We've got a little box there. These are the imaginary ones. The x's are the imaginary ones. So this is going to be some kind of a hyperbola going like this, because one of them is imaginary. So this is a hyperbola. Okay, let's go ahead and complete the square, just like we've been doing forever. I think I'm going to put the y squared first here for completing the square purposes. And then we have -x squared plus 4x. And I'll move that 7 to the other side. I didn't leave myself much space there. Okay, cut this in half. -1, square that in, plus 1. If I add 1 to this side, we add 1 to this side, making it 8. Okay, we cannot have that negative there, so I got to divide it out. I'm going to divide a -1 out of that so that it's a positive x squared. Dividing a -1 out of that makes it -4x with the whole. Okay, so half of that is -2. -2 squared is 4. So it looks like I added 4 to one side. I got to add 4 to the other side, but it's really 4 times -1. So I added -4 over here, so I'll add -4 over there. Okay, we got her completed. There we go. Y minus 1 all squared. And then I got this -1, so minus, and then here's the rest of it. X minus 2 all squared equals 7 plus 1 is 8 minus 4, so it equals 4. Okay, hyperbolas have to equal 1, so we'll divide that by 4, divide that by 4, divide that by 4. So So we have y minus 1 all squared over 4 minus x minus 2 all squared over 4 equals 1 is the equation. Now you can see that this is going to have an up and down stretch of 2, and this is going to have a sideways stretch of 2, so that it's going to make a square box this time. Okay, so that gives us the center. So the center is at 2, 1. So 1, 2, 1. So right there's my center. Oops, right there's the center, 2, 1. Now it's going to go sideways 2, up and down 2, and sideways 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm going to make the box out of that. See, if that would have been plus, it would have been the circle inside the box. But this is going to be the exploded circle on the outside of the box. It is the x's that are imaginary. So that one is imaginary and that one is imaginary. So that's the real one. And this is the real one. So there's our picture. Okay, the vertices. It wants this one and this one. So it's from this dot right here up 2. So that center was over 2, and then it started up 1, up and down 2. Oops, sorry. Started at the center, that's the x, and then it was up 1, but then it went up and down 2. Now the other vertices are called the co-vertices. These are the only ones that are real, so I think those are the only ones that I'm going to answer. Let's see what the answer key does. Number 4. Yeah, see, that's all the answer key is doing also. And then it wants the focus points. The focus is always on the inside of the curve, so the focus points are going to be there, up and down from the vertex. Okay, this is A, 1, 2. This is B, it's also 2, and the distance from the center to the focus point way out here is C. Okay, so we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 2 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared, so that's 8. Which is, there's a 4 in that. That's 4 times 2. So C is 2 square roots of 2. So it's on the y-axis, it's 2 square roots of 2 down from the center and 2 square roots of 2 up from the center. So the focus points starting at the center of 2, 1, but the 1 is going up and down 2 square roots of 2. Okay, number 5. So actually maybe I should let, so 5, 6, 7, and 8. I think I'll go ahead and let you go ahead and try those on your own now. Oh, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 2 more of each. So there's 2 more circles, 2 more parabolas, 2 more hyperbolas. I'll let you give those a try. So I'm going to skip now over to question 13. Where it says, okay, now we want to write the equation in general form. That's where you multiply it all out. Okay, this one is a parabola. One of the things that we can use is our cheat sheet on parabolas. It's going to look something like this. So there's our general equation. I'm going to give myself a picture first. Vertex is at 0, 4, okay, right there. And then the focus is at 0, 4.5. So this is the vertex, here's the focus. So it's looking like this. Okay, so in my mind, it means it's looking like this. It's crossing the x twice. So it's the x that's getting squared. So the general formula here is going to be x minus h all squared equals 4p y minus k. Okay, well, we got the h and the k because they gave us the vertex. So we have x minus 0 all squared equals 4p y minus 4. Okay, the p number is this distance right here. That distance is p. I'm pretty sure I can just figure that out. It was up 4 and then it went to 4.5. So that's telling me that it's 0.5. Okay, so that number right there is 0.5. So 4 times a half is only a 2. So here we have x squared equals 2 times y minus 4. I'll go ahead and multiply that in. Okay, and the general form for these kind is you go ahead and solve it for y. Oh wait, no, that's not true. General form, you put the highest powers first and you set it all equal to 0. So I'll move these two things over there so that it's equal to 0. So I have x squared, move the 2y over, move the 8 over, equals 0. So there's our general form. Okay, number 14, it's telling me it's a circle. Okay, well if it's a circle, I know I know this is the equation, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. I know that. I'm going to give me a visual. Negative 10, negative 9 with a radius of 5. Somewhere down there. Okay, well these are the easiest kind. So we have x minus negative 10, so x plus 10 all squared, plus y minus minus 9, so plus 9 squared equals 5 squared. All we got to do is multiply that out and we have it. So x squared, double the middle, 20x, square the last, 100. Y squared, double the middle, so 9x doubled is 18y, square the last one. And now just organize it. The highest power, alphabetical first. So x squared, the next highest power, alphabetical, is y squared. The next highest power is a first, alphabetical, so we'll do the x next, and then the y next. And then I've got 100 plus 81 minus 25. 181 minus 25 is 156. Okay, the next one is an ellipse. That means I know it's something like this, x minus h all squared over a radius squared, the sideways radius squared, plus y minus k all squared over the up and down radius squared equals 1. So I'm going to put it in that format. Okay, let's see if we can't get a visual of what's happening. Vertices, negative 4, 15, so negative 4 up 15, and negative 4 down 15. Okay, so those are the vertices. So the center will be halfway in between those. Okay, so the center is going to be negative 4 plus negative 4 cut in half, and then 15 plus negative 15 cut in half. So the center is at negative 4, 0. Right there. Okay, so the focus points will be on the inside, and I can see that it's, okay, it went sideways negative 4, and then it went up 10 square roots of 2, and then the other one went down 10 square roots of 2. So to that focus point right there, I know that distance is 10 square roots of 2. Well, that's from the center to the focus. That's C. The center to the vertex, well, that went from 0 up to what? 4? No. 15? Went from 0 to 15, so that's A. The only thing I don't really have, if I put in this circle here, or ellipse, I don't have how wide it is. But we're going to get that. That's missing. We're missing b. Okay, so a squared minus b squared equals c squared. One of them is 15. C is 10 square roots of 2. Okay, this is 225. This one squared, so that's 100 times 2, so this is 200. I'm going to subtract the 225 from this side, so we have b squared equals 25, so b is 5. That distance right there is 5. Okay, we have the equation. X minus -4 all squared, and the sidewaysness is 5. Plus y. Okay, our center has no shift, so y squared, but the up and down was 50. The height of the y radius was 15. Okay, so this is 25, and this is 225. So the least common multiple there is 225. Multiply by 225, multiply by 225, multiply by 225. 225, what is that? 4, 8, it's 9. 25 goes into there 9 times. 225 goes in there all the way. So we're left with 9, x minus 4 all squared, plus y squared equals 225. Let's get her multiplied out. First piece squared, -4x doubled. Then 4 squared is 16. Okay, multiply in the 9. So 9x squared minus 72x. 16 times 9 is 144, plus y squared equals 225. And I'll just reorganize it. So highest power first, 9x squared. Next is the alphabetical is the y squared. Then the regular x, 72x. Then the regular y, which there isn't one. Then I'll take this 225 and move it over here. So whatever 144 minus 225 is, -81. That's number 15. When I check the answer there, it says it's a positive 72. Why do I have -72? Did I miss a negative somewhere? Oh yeah, right here. The x is already -4, so that should be at +4. So that's +4. That's +8. 9 times 8 is +72. So yes, that's a positive 72 right there. Okay, 16, now they want us to do a hyperbola. Okay, let's take a look at what we got going here. 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 is a vertice, and 5, -3. Okay, so it's looking something like this. So the center is halfway between there, so I'm going to get my center. It's 5 plus 5 over 2, and then it's 1 plus -3 over 2. So the center is at 5, -1. So 5, -1 is the center. That can get me going. So I have some kind of box like this. So it's going something like that. So I know that these are the real vertices. The ones going up and down are the real ones. So the x ones are the fake ones. So I'll go y plus 1 all squared over something minus x minus 5 all squared over something equals 1. Well, I can just count how far that is. It's 1, 2. So that distance right there is 2. That's the A distance. Okay, they're giving us the focus up here. The focus is at over 5, starting down 1. See, there's the center. And it's going up 85. So from the center, that distance is a root 85. Okay, from the center to the focus is C. And what I need is this distance right here to the imaginary vertex, which would now be B. So I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I have C as root 85. I have A as 2. Okay, so that's 85. I'll subtract 4. So I have B squared equals 81. So B is 9. That distance is 9 right there. So the sideways distance is 9 squared. So here's our equation. We just need to flatten it out. So that's really 4. That's really 81. Let's see. What's 81 times 2? Okay, it's just 80. So 81 times 4 is the common denominator, is the least common multiple. 324. So I'll multiply this by 324, this by 324, and this by 324. 4 goes in there 81 times. 81 goes in there 4 times. So I've got 81 times all of this stuff. Y plus 1 all squared minus 4 times x minus 5 all squared equals 324. Okay, square the first piece. 1y doubled is 2y, and 1 squared is 1. Square the first piece, x squared. Negative 5x doubled is negative 10x, and negative 5 squared is plus 25. Multiplying the 81. Multiplying the negative 4. Okay, so our final answer, negative 4x squared plus 81y squared plus 40x plus 162y. 81 minus 100 minus 324. Is negative 343. That's number 16. Okay, so I think I'll let you try 17, 18, 19, and 20. Wherever they are on my paper, they're somewhere. So you try those and see how you do. They're there. Okay.